One, I was just getting ready to take a sip of something to drink, but I knew as soon as I did, we would be live. Sorry. So, Wendy and Bill here, Carolina Capital Management. We always talk about how important it is to invest in yourself. We go to a lot of masterminds, and we are going to give you our thoughts. We have been to two within the last week.
Our brains are full.
And we're going to give you some takeaways that you guys can use right after this. Hello, everyone, and I would like to be more excited, but I'm tired because I've been on the road for 7 or 8 days. And I'm in a little bit of a fog, but that's kind of typical for me. Yeah. That's how I roll. So thank you for joining us on the Real Estate Investor Show, Hard Money for Real Estate Investors. We are Carolina Capital Management. We are lenders in the Southeast for real estate investors, professionals. If you have a project that you would like us to take a look at, then go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Apply Now tab. If you are a passive investor looking for passive returns, go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Accredited Investor tab. Normally, I would say at this point, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But I've been told that we ask people to do too many things. So just hit the subscribe button.
That's right. And we're good.
And once you're subscribed, then you can hit the bell and the share and the like.
Act like you didn't say that. That's good.
Am I done?
I think you are.
And don't forget to sign up with Wednesdays with Wendy. Okay, subscribe. And then Wednesdays with Wendy. Yeah. Just 2 things. There is a link there in our chat. And by the way, there's a chat. So you can chat with us. And it will be either on the right side or underneath your screen, depending on the platform that you're viewing us from. But Wendy is typically booked up for months in advance. So get on the waiting list.
We're in mid-August now, which is nice.
Feels like mid-August now.
I know, the heat is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. But I get to go to my dear friend Mary Hart's house in the Adirondacks of New York this weekend.
Sweet.
We are, she and I and another incredible, intelligent
female
investor, Ashley Cash. We're getting together to do some podcasts together. We're calling it Sweetheart Cash. We already bought the URL, so don't go looking for that. It's good. Hi, Dorley. So, yeah.
Miss you. It's been like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, we did some golf with her, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Top golf at Freedom Founders.
She has a wonderful swing, by the way.
Yeah. He means with the club.
Yes.
Yeah. Got to watch him.
Where are we? Stop messing me up.
I'm sorry, I threw you off, but it's the reason why I was telling you about Mary Hart's is because we've got we had 102 temperature the other day. Yeah. It's in the high 90s today, and in the Adirondacks, I just looked up the weather. The high for Saturday is 61 degrees.
Yeah, nice.
And Sunday is even lower than that. It's going to be in the 50s. So. That'll be a nice reprieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're going to Florida
to speak at the Punta Gorda event, which is booked.
So we don't have a URL. Yeah, we do, but
yeah,
it's already
that's booked. The URL. You can actually get on a book for next year too. Okay. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, since it's been getting to capacity, maybe next time they can
have a bigger spot.
Or offer some live streaming for those who can't make it.
Actually, they are going to have videos available. Okay. So in our show next week, I'll have the link for that. So you can sign up to buy the videos for that event. So that should be good.
Sweet. Yeah. So Sue Jensen definitely knows where to go in the summertime, because she's from New York, that area.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's a place in the summer. Look at that.
not the winner.
Yeah. I agree with that.
All right. So where else? We're going to be at the Quest Expo. So I'm going to
That's in
pause
September.
You can get discounted tickets if you use Fairman30 as the code, and that'll get you 30% off.
I think Sue is going to that too. I know a couple of people that
it's always a great
Sunday.
event. There's always
it's amazing. Good
networking
actually.
to be had, and there's plenty of investment opportunities.
Yeah. So if you have IRA money and you want to place it, that's a great place to go to meet people that you can get to know, like, and trust to be able to lend it to. You can learn about different deals that are out there, and you can learn even more about how to use your self-directed IRA, all the different things that you can do,
Absolutely.
401ks and all that good stuff.
So I'm going to let you, excuse me, start this off with your takeoffs.
Are you sleepy?
Takeaways, obviously, because I can't even spit out the words.
Yeah. So there are a couple of things I really kind of wanted to start off with, are a couple of books that we were given at the event, but we know both writers, and we know they do a great job in conveying education that is needed in a big way. So the first one I want to talk about it's called How Leadership Actually Works. And the writer is Larry Yacht. You see that down in front of us on that red little ribbon thing in the front. This guy is a retired Navy SEAL, and he is, I mean, I gotta say, he's just nothing but a badass, you know. And he's got this great training program too that he and his partner Annie work on together. That's extremely affordable, that they can help you with your team, the leadership, things like that. But it's whether you have a team or whether you're just one. This is a great book to read. Really, really good. Then, there's the foreword. Yeah, love that. He told some really cool stories too. We heard him speak several times. And he is just a phenomenal speaker. Just amazing to hear all of his stories. Gosh, if you can stay alive, you know, when people are shooting at you and not lose your cool. I think you can figure out how to lead a team.
That's where the training comes in.
That's right. Very, very focused. So I highly recommend that one. The other one I want to recommend to you is written by our very own Dr. David Phelps, which is Inflation and How Timely Is This? This guy, it's like he has some sort of crystal ball that he can look into the future, and he knows exactly what he needs to be touching on. David has surrounded himself with incredibly intelligent people that are really dialed into what's going on.
That's why he has us come.
Yeah. It's amazing how he can really talk to the right people and get information out in advance, so you know how to handle, you know, this inflation that we're in the midst of and will only continue to get worse. So I would highly recommend you get that book and read it as well. It is available on Audible, and very well worth the read. David's written 4 or 5 books, maybe even more than that at this point. All of them are good. He's got one that is dedicated to the younger generation as well. And I cannot remember the name of that. Entrepreneur.
It's The Apprentice.
The Apprentice model. That's what it's called. The Apprentice model. That's really good too. So if you know anybody between the ages of 15 and 25 and you can get them to read a book, that is well worth it.
Yeah. And
there it is. Thank you, Scott. That's a great one.
What was awesome about this most recent event is that he invited the adult children of the members to come in, and there was probably 50?
There were 50, yeah, 50 kids.
There were 50, we call them kids, because they were between 18 and 34, I
15.
think.
They were all the way down to 15 to 20, 25 was what they were shooting for. But
and we're showing them stuff that they're never going to learn in school.
Yeah.
because school, for the most part, trains worker bees.
Yeah.
And you're never going to get training on entrepreneurialism.
And really how to run a business.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Because they don't want you to know this stuff. They want you to be happy in your worker bee position.
That's right. That's right. One of the things, I took my youngest son, Alex, who is 19 years old and actually works for us now.
He's currently a worker bee. I don't want that changing.
And he's a hard worker bee too. So anyway, he went, and he's, of my 3 kids, he's the brainiac, and probably could have gotten a scholarship anywhere he wanted to go for college. And I knew the number one question he was going to get from everybody that he was introduced to was, are you going to school, or where are you going to school? And I was wondering if it would, make him feel bad about being there, being one of the few that were not in college and not intending on going. And he was proud of it. He said, you know what, if I needed a license, to be a doctor or a lawyer or, whatever that's required, absolutely I would go. He said, but that's not what I want to do with my life. And he explained to him, I was homeschooled and spent a multitude of time in my mother's office, listening to what they were doing and, understanding that being an entrepreneur is real and attainable.
Right.
And he's excited about that. He loved the event.
Good.
And I was one proud mama. I can tell you that, because as far as I was concerned, he was the best, but I was very, very proud.
I don't know why you would think that.
Yeah. He's an awesome kid. I'm very blessed. My kids are awesome.
Any other takeaways from David's event?
So one of the things, there were a million things that they said that I really loved, but the one thing that I really honed in on is, in this Freedom Founders event that David does, he brings a bunch of dentists in. That's the main core, but there's some chiropractors and orthodontists and
private
veterinarians.
practice professionals.
Yes. So he brings them in, and his goal is to help them do basically a couple of things. Either get out of their practices and sell them, or set them up so that they run on their own, to where they're not a slave to the chair, because they are highly paid professionals. And his goal is to get them out of that mindset and into taking what they have made money-wise and investing that into vetted, trusted advisors, funds, people who buy and sell properties, people that David knows and has known for years and that have a track record. We've all been through the crash.
Sure.
So his goal is to help give them a pool of people to invest in that have been vetted by him, that he knows that they're as trustworthy as can be.
And while they're real estate centric, they're not all real estate folks either. There's other investment opportunities.
Right. So that's his goal, but he gets there by getting them to come up with what they think their freedom number is. Your freedom number is, what's it going to take for you to not have to go into work every day? What are you going to live on when you're not doing that anymore? What's retired look like to you? Is it retired or refired? Refired, ready to go. So he talked about what do you need to do to condense your time to get to your freedom number? Right. What do we need to do? And really coming into this inflationary situation that we're in now, that will only continue to get worse. It's important that we really look at what we're going to need to move forward in life without having to be chained to our chairs or whatever that might be. So he said there were 3 things. The first thing is to reduce your burn rate. Everybody should do this. Right. And you say, what is your burn rate? How much money are you spending every month? Reduce your burn rate. Now, we do that as a company. Sure. We do it personally too, but like as a company, we meet quarterly.
We do, our financial meeting
is monthly.
Every month we go through every spend and figure out whether it's still a spend we need to be making.
Yeah. Do you need that Netflix account?
That's not a spend that we have business wise.
Well, it is personally.
It is.
You know,
it's a good example.
Yeah. The little things that you're spending money on that you may not need to, or, we always find that we're actually doubling up on stuff that we don't need. We're getting the same service from this sector that we're getting from this. Do we need to have both? Sure. And at one point we did that. We cut out $16,000 worth of stuff, didn't we? Mm-hmm. That was actually the first time we ever really went through every single expenditure that we had. So that was really interesting. So reducing your burn rate. An example he gave too was, do you really need to live in the house that you're living in?
Right.
Do you really need to be, an empty nester with, a 5-bedroom, 4-bath home?
Sure.
Is that what you need? Can you tone down your lifestyle a little bit so that you can put that extra money into investing, so that passive income will come back to you. So number one was reduce the burn rate. The second one was to reduce your debt or your mortgage. And I thought that was very interesting. Reducing your debt. What debt do you really have? The fancy boat? Right. Is that a debt? Your fancy cars? Your mortgage is a debt. What can you do to reduce that? Even in you may have rental properties and things like that. What is it that you can reduce about that?
I'm sorry. Bye, Dora.
And then the third one is, she already heard all this actually, because she was at the event. The third one was, look into your investment portfolio and what kind of cash flow are you getting back?
Yeah.
And that was really important. There are investments that you can make that will give you a return 5-10 years down the road. But what's your cash flow now coming back from your portfolio? To really, really hone in on those 3 items, and that will condense your time to that freedom number.
Awesome. All right. So quickly to summarize this, there's a couple of things that I wanted to add.
Okay.
One of them is, the ultimate goal in the end is to take as much active income as you can and turn it into passive income. Mm-hmm. And lastly, the old retirement system is broken. It's no longer about saving up a certain amount of money and then hope you die before you run out. Mm-hmm. It's about creating enough wealth, passive income to never touch your principal, and then to have a legacy to pass along. It could be to heirs, it could be
charity,
some sort of charity, mentorships, that type of thing. So that's what's really important.
Yeah.
That's what's really important.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to quickly cover some other things. I was at another mastermind as well, but our good friend Aaron Chapman was also at the last Freedom Founders, and he is in the Fannie Freddie long-term mortgage
conventional
business.
Mortgage
and
for investors.
But he specializes in investors, and people are freaking out about the rates being so high. Mm-hmm. So he has an investment tool, which is also an app, and I'm going to give you the name of it. It's called the Q as in Quebec, J as in Juliet, and O as in Oscar investment tool. And you can get it at the App Store or whatever the Google thing is. But it's a calculator where you can calculate what you're actually paying back based on the current inflation. And the current inflation rate is automatically calculated inside of the app. So I did an example here where essentially it's a $200,000 loan on a 30-year mortgage at 6.6%. Over 30 years, you're paying back $459,834. But with adjusted for inflation, you're actually paying back $174,077. So adjusted for inflation, because you're paying your payments with currency that's going down in value.
Right.
You have rents that are over time are going to continue to go up. And at the same time, the value of that property over time is going to continue to increase. The point is you are paying, well, it would over 30 years.
Yes.
The point to this is you're actually paying back less money than you borrowed
Mm-hmm.
when you adjust for inflation. It's an awesome app, and it's a great way of looking at still amortizing an asset over time.
And not freaking out over the rates where they are.
Correct.
Because
And you can look at this calculation and figure out.
thank you, Brian. See, Brian gets it.
Yeah. you can, with this app, you can also do 5 years, 10 years, and figure out how much you're paying back before you might want to think about selling that asset and doing something else with the money. I learned at the Power Room a few things, but a couple of takeaways I have from that. There was a fella, and I swear I can't remember his first name. His last name is Hyatt. He's a big business coach, but he talks about your daily list. How many people write down what they're going to do that day, and they check off that list as they go.
I do that.
How many people finish the list?
I finish it almost every day, but I move it to the next day.
And don't you feel bad that you haven't finished it?
I don't feel that bad. Life is short.
So the best thing to do is take the 3 most important things you have to get done that day, and that's all you have on the list, right? You can have a list for things to do later, but they're not as important. Take the 3 most important things you have to get done, and if you get some extra stuff done, great.
That's a good idea.
If not, you're not going to beat yourself up about not getting these things done.
That's a great idea. I usually do the quickest things first, so I feel like I've accomplished something.
It's like paying down the smallest debts first.
That's the truth. I set my clock at home to 15 minutes ahead too. I still fool myself every day.
Lastly on this, and we all know this, but we try to save money by doing it ourselves. Let a professional do it. This works in business. This works at home. How many? I want you to raise your hands. How many out there know how to replace your garage door opener? How many know how to replace the springs in the garage door?
I can Google it.
How many people can replace the garage doors? You can do it. You can Google it. You can figure out how to do it. It may take you an entire weekend to do it, but wouldn't it be better to hire a garage door person to come in and knock it out in an hour and a half?
Yes, that's what I
right? And yes, while you'll save money, dollars, which by the way are going down in value, how much is your time worth?
Yeah.
Even if you have the time, wouldn't you want to be doing something a little more productive than
family oriented? Actually, yeah.
Spending time with loved ones, that type of thing, or making a difference. Changing your garage door is not making a difference in the world.
Yeah.
It may make a difference for your standard of living. So anyway, that said,
let me say this real quick too before we get too close to the end. Brian is speaking tonight.
Yeah, where?
At the Fredericksburg REI. And I'll send you the calculator name again too. But Brian, I want you to put in the chat where you're speaking tonight, the link, so people on here will be able to catch you at 6:30 this evening. He's going to be talking about basically hacks, but a way to opportunities to be able to do financing for investors from a conventional side
of
the world.
Yeah, so the name of that app is Q as in Quebec, J as in Juliet, and O as in Oscar. QJO Investment Tool. QJO Investment Tool.
When you go to the App Store, when you type in just the QJO, it's usually the first thing that'll pop up. Yep, that's it. It's in the chat.
Got a picture of a flying monkey with a beard on it.
Yeah.
It's really hard to miss.
And then Brian, if you can put that link up here for where you're speaking tonight, that'd be great. But it's the Fredericksburg REI, FRED, and then Real Estate Investor Association is also REIA. I have to stop and say that in my head.
Awesome.
But
and
that'll be good.
Brian always does a great job.
There it is, right there. Yeah, it'll be amazing. I'm really looking forward to it.
Anything you want to add?
Have a great day.
I'm sure that I will come up with some more takeaways. These were just the ones that were just right off the top of our heads.
Yeah.
And we'll add that to some future shows. One last thing I want to say is that it is really important to invest in yourself. And I know it costs money to do this. Don't think of it as I'm spending extra money to learn stuff. You are investing in your personal, business, and financial life. Okay.
And it's one step at a time. You know, we have friends that have great events. You know, this one in Punta Gorda we've been talking about. Jim Ingersoll does the Deal Maker, which is awesome. Dealmaker.com. I think he's got Deal Maker 2022 coming back in September, I believe, or that he's going to be doing this anyway. That's a good thing. Those smaller groups are a great way to get started.
Sure.
You know, before
and
you
there's
jump
groups
into
for all levels too. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to hop into one that's got like the top 10% of real estate
Right.
investors in the country until you get to that level. But there's plenty of groups. You need to, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
That's right.
You need to be able to give value as much as get value.
That's right.
So with that,
Well, and we will be covering all the things that we've talked about today and
what?
some more in Sunrisers
Okay.
at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. And
There you go. Sorry,
there's
Hannah.
our Facebook group for Sunrisers. And I'll have it posted on Sunrisers, the link to get on to Sunrisers. So
Right.
we'd love to have you on there. It's a faith-based group. We do a 10-minute devotional. And Brian also takes 10 minutes, Brian Maddox, to talk about the market and what's going on. And then we talk about real estate. Sometimes it's just a full-on Jesus fest too. But it's an awesome
and if
group.
that's a little too early for you, you can use some of this stuff here called Buck Up.
to get up and get moving.
It will get your eyes open.
Awesome. And Ken Veroli posted Deal Maker. Thank you for doing that, Ken.
Awesome.
It's great. Well worth it. Awesome.
All right, folks, have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining us on the Real Estate Investor Show. Hard money for real estate investors. We are Carolina Capital Management. We are lenders in the Southeast for real estate professionals. If you have a project that you would like us to take a look at, go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Apply Now tab.
And we've got great long-term programs too.
Yes, we do. Even though the rates are much higher than what they were 6 months ago.
Yeah, but they're not any higher than Freddie Mae and Fannie Mae.
It's not
now.
about the rates.
That's right.
It's about paying it back with dollars that are going down and
That's
back.
right. We'll show you a calculator.
Anyway, where the heck was I? Thank you.
Apply now if you have a deal.
If you are a passive investor looking for passive returns, click on the accredited investor tab at carolinahardmoney.com. Don't forget to like. No, don't forget to subscribe. You can like and share later.
Yeah. And tell all your friends.
Wednesdays with Wendy. Have a nice day.
I like that, Brian.
They have normalized.
That's right.